What's going on, YouTube? It's Tom here, and I'm back with an important video today. This is something that's been in the works for probably 2 or 3 months now, and we're finally getting close to making this come to life. So I figured now was a good time to bring it up in a video. So what this is going to be called is the Passaround testing project, and let me explain to you where this came from and what we're doing here. So I know back when all the testing kind of became new on YouTube and everyone was kind of freaking out, there was a lot of people saying that tests with two knives of different geometries didn't mean anything. So if something was 15 thousandths behind the edge and the other knife was 25 thousandths behind the edge, and they were in the same steel, the results would be much different just because of the geometries, which is probably the case. So I was talking to some of my buddies over on the Knife Club Discord, and we had some ideas to try and run some standardized tests. But to make that happen, it would be difficult because you need knives of the identical geometries, ideally made by the exact same person, and just different steels. The only variable would be the steels. So after meeting some awesome people there, I'm fortunate enough to have some of the connections to get some testing knives made. So some knives that are identical geometries with just the steels being different. And so we're going to get a set of testing knives made with identical stock thickness and identical behind the edge thickness. The behind the edge thickness will be right around 5 thousandths from what the maker is telling me. And all the steels will be taken to the hardest possible in order to see the full potential of each steel, which is something I'm very, very excited about because, as you guys know, production companies tend not to do that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the potential of some of these steels. So when this idea kind of popped up, I brought it to a group of my friends, Ryan over at Banner 24/7, Steve, you guys know who Steve is, Gerald at Outpost 76, and Kenny from In the Pocket. And they were all on board for it. So I've kind of been talking with them, deciding what steels we want to test for our first batch here, and deciding, who these knives get sent to. So as far as who these knives get sent to, I think anybody who's kind of on YouTube doing the testing is fair game to get these sent to. I think anybody that's pretty prominent on Instagram with all of us, I think, should be able to have these knives sent to them. Unfortunately, I don't think we can send these just out to anybody, but maybe that will be a possibility in the future. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. So the four steels we decided on for the initial batch were Z-Wear at 64 to 65, Vanax at 61 to 62, M390 at 63 to 64. That one I'm excited for. And K390 at 65 to 66. Now, all of these knives will be HRC tested by Kurt before we ever begin testing them. As far as the maker of these knives go, I have one of his customs here sitting in front of me. Transparent Knives is the maker. Brian over there is an awesome guy, and he's making these knives for us for practically just the cost and materials, which is awesome. Initially, I was thinking that they were just going to be testing blanks, but he's actually going to throw black G10 handles on there for free for us. We're basically paying for the steel and a little bit of his labor. Speaking of Brian, you should go check his Instagram out. I'm going to link that down in the description. He makes some awesome knives. He's a relatively new maker, but he's doing crazy good work. Works with all the high-end steels. As you guys can see here, this is one of his custom builds. The handle material might not be your forte, but excellent geometry, excellent steel choices, and he does crazy good work. And God, the grind is just super thin. This is my first knife I've ever had with crazy geometry. I think this one was like 7 thousandths behind the edge. Without getting too far off track, he sent this one to me for free because the heat treatment was a little bit off, and I tested that a little bit and then sent it out to Kurt and had him test it and everything. And I'm saving this for a future video, so we'll be on the lookout for that. But anyhow, getting back into this. So he's making these knives for practically just the cost of materials and labor. So our cost for the four initial knives was $520, which is about $130 a piece, which really isn't bad for testing knives in these steels that are. I mean, the cost of steel is roughly half of that to begin with. So um, it's just awesome that he's providing these to us at such a low cost. So we were all prepared to pay for these knives ourselves, which would be about $130 a person or so. But we're actually asking for some help to help fund these and future test knives. Um, this is something that we'd like to continue doing after this initial batch. Ideally, I'd like to have test knives in, the whole range of steels and maybe even different steels at different hardnesses. So like M390 at 58, 60, 62, 64, just to show what the difference in hardness can actually do for edge retention. Um, Now, when we thought about this, I looked into some of the crowdfunding sites like GoFundMe and other ones like that, but they all took a big percentage, which I really didn't think was fair for anybody who donated. Uh, Most of them were taking like 10 to 15%, which is really kind of garbage if you think about it. That somebody's maybe $10 donation would just go towards the fees. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use a PayPal, kind of like we did for Kurt for his Rockwell testing machine. That way, anybody's donation is going 110% towards these knives and not towards some sort of a fee. The PayPal is going to be my PayPal, tomhosang@yahoo.com, and I'm going to put that down in the description as well. So we were also thinking about a possible prize for the top donor. So what we kind of decided on, the top donor will get half of a custom build from Brian over at Transparent Knives, paid for by us. So his custom builds, I think from last time talking to him, were right around $200, maybe a touch more, which really isn't bad for a custom fixed blade. And he has a bunch of different designs, not just this little one. This is his smallest, but he has a bunch of different designs. And like I said, he works with all the materials. This would be a custom build of your choice. You pick the blade steel, you pick the hardness, you pick the handle material, and we'd pay for half of it. So really, you'd only be paying $100 or so for a full-on custom, which is really awesome. As far as these testing knives go, like I said, I'd like to have a full range of them in many different steels, many different hardnesses. The prize, by the way, for the top donor would only be if we reach our total goal of that $520. And anything over that, if somehow we raise over that, all of that money will go towards future batches, which would be awesome. This could get costly as we continue to keep getting these, as long as the first set works out. I know Brian said that he's getting really close to finishing up all of his backlogged orders, so our knives should be coming up soon. What other things do I got to talk about here? Oh, the top donor thing, I think we should run that for 2 months. So the top donor in the next 2 months would get that custom build paid for. So if you guys would, like to donate to see these test knives come to fruition and possibly, more batches of them at different hardnesses, that would be awesome. Like I said, the PayPal will be down in the description, and I will keep you guys updated on what the total is and how close we are to our goal on Instagram and probably here on YouTube too if we start getting close. So I thank everyone in advance for all the support, and I look forward to getting these testing knives in hand and getting some awesome results for you guys. Either way, even if nobody donates, this first batch is going to happen. If you guys just want to wait it out and see how this is going to go, that's cool too, because there will be more batches more than likely. So anyhow, guys, that's really all I got for you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys for all the support in advance. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good day.